the way, low energy can be applied to Hillary. I just don't like to use the same thing twice on one of my enemies, right? Because I consider them enemies. We view this as war. Don't we view this as war? It's war. It's war. Because the husband wants to come, and she wants to accuse me of things, and the husband's one of the great abusers of the world? Give me a break. Give me a break.
So is it the fiery talk like this that has conservatives flocking to Donald Trump?
Former presidential candidate Herman Cain says he's happy to explain it. He's the author of the upcoming book, The Right Problems, What the President, Congress, and Every Candidate Should Be Working On, and he joins us now live. Good morning. Thanks for being with us, Mr.
Good morning,
Cain.
Mr. Cain. Welcome back.
Good morning to all of you. Thank you.
We'll have you back on to talk more about your book. But when we see these polls, particularly the Real Clear Politics average of all these polls,
Right.
this lead for Donald Trump, I mean, it's defying so many pundits have been saying from the very beginning. They didn't even think he'd get in the race, and look at him now, 35.6%. Is it
Right.
that people just believe exactly what he says and that he's no nonsense?
I think it's because he is touching a chord with the same people that are conservatives who believe that we have three major problems. And as someone said earlier, he is a fiery candidate. They want some fire in our president to attack three big problems that Main Street USA and the conservatives recognize, but the political establishment basically don't do anything about. Number one, this is a sluggish economy. It is not the new normal. Donald Trump projects the fact that we can do better. Number two, this runaway spending. And all the establishment candidates do is make excuses for this runaway spending. And three, they want a fiery leader to fight against the war on terrorism. Those are the three things that Donald Trump appeals to, and he doesn't play by the rules. And that's what a lot of people like.
So let's go back in time. Let's go back in the time machine, get the flux capacitor out and go back, because you were the front runner at one point. Remember when the 999 plan, of course, came out, and you talked about that at the debate and suddenly shot up in the polls, and suddenly out of the blue, you were the front runner. And many people likened it at the time to your no-nonsense, straight-talk approach where you weren't getting politicky and flowery. Then things didn't work out so well for you in the end, of course. So how does Donald Trump keep that going and then not peter out after Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina?
The difference between Donald Trump's rise and my rise and me dropping out of the race is that, quite frankly, he has enough money to sue all of those people who will lie against him. I didn't have enough money to have three lawsuits going on at the same time, plus the impact on my family. We could have endured the impact on my family, but when you are distracted from your campaign, worrying about how the media is trying to create a frenzy, some of them, not all, when they're trying to create a frenzy to bring you down, you have to make a decision, a business decision, as well as a personal decision. That's the difference. I believe that Trump has staying power because, number one, he's not playing by the rules. He doesn't care about political correctness, and that is connecting with Main Street USA as well as a lot of conservatives.
Mr. Cain, speaking of conservatives, a lot of the candidates on the race have tried to remind voters of previous liberal positions that Donald Trump have taken years ago, unsuccessfully in doing so, and trying to paint him not as a conservative. Do you look at Donald Trump on the spectrum of conservative to liberal? Is it more of an insider-outsider? What is the attraction specifically for conservatives in the fact that he's taken some different positions years earlier?
Conservatives, as well as Main Street people Main Street People USA, they don't care about all of the quote-unquote previous positions. I read his book, and it lays out what his position is today on many of the issues. Secondly, many of the people that are supporting Donald Trump, they are not listening to all of this stuff about what label they want to put on him, whether or not he flip-flopped on things. They don't care about flip-flop. They don't care about labels. They just care about someone that is a fiery leader and someone that will be a fiery president to represent the people and not politics. That's what's attracting a lot of people to Donald Trump.
Well, the new book is coming out soon. Herman Cain, it's always great to see you, and we will have you back on as soon as that book drops. I guess you can pre-order it now.
And by the way, happy 2016, and I'm not supposed to say this. Happy birthday, Clayton.
Oh!
I'm not supposed to say it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Happy 2016.
This is war. Donald Trump attacking Hillary Clinton and Jeb Bush as the race for the presidency heats up.
Yeah, and a new year could mean some campaign shakeup. So let's talk to our Doug Luzader, who's live in Washington with the latest on all this. Hi there, Doug.
Good morning. We're going to see some big changes ahead in 2016, and two candidates who may be in some trouble now are going to radically change their campaign operations in the months ahead. First, let's talk about Jeb Bush. He is going to redeploy much of his campaign staff from his Miami headquarters, sending them to early states like Iowa and New Hampshire to improve his ground game there, de-emphasizing now big TV buys. Ben Carson, and we've been talking about this for a while, is going to retool his campaign, which may include some pretty big staff changes. One thing that will not change, though, according to Carson, is the candidate himself.
There will be some changes made so that the campaign is more consistent with me, with the way that I am, which is not, confrontational and attacking other people, but who does put out the truth and is transparent and is reasonable to people.
Donald Trump, meantime, made it clear how he feels about his competitors, ranging from Republican Jeb Bush to Democrat Hillary Clinton.
I consider them enemies. We view this as war. Don't we view this as war?
And finally, let's touch on Ted Cruz, who has emerged as a real contender, especially in Iowa. ABC News reporting that he has some pretty deep pockets now. He's done some pretty successful fundraising, raising about $20 million over the past 3 months. Abby.
All right.